Hey guys, welcome to another week of WoW Weekly with Myst. Hope you guys are having a great week in WoW. For this week's events, Dark Moon Fair is active right now and will be active all week. So definitely that's a good one to take advantage of. Will help you on your new reps that are out in Aldham and Vale. And maybe alts if you're leveling some alts. Mythics will be the weekly, so this might actually give me a little incentive to do my mythics. I've been kind of slacking for the past couple of weeks, so maybe I'll actually do some this week. Usually I do them every week, but BFA has been... I've honestly felt like a zombie most days with BFA. And the last thing that will be active is the PvP brawl. It's going to be South Shore versus Terran Mill. And those are the events, so nothing too huge. The Mythic Weekly can be done in one night. And yes, you're probably wondering why we're watching the Warfront here. The reason that I went into this one, because I still do them for that damn achievement that you see in the tracker there. It's all those names. There's one other name on top of that, and that's how many more I need. That one is a bitch because, you have to run it so many times to get all those different random guys in there. And for whatever reason, it's always Yogursa I see in pop up, but whatever. So I was doing it for that, but there was actually a bigger reason. I was doing it for the 7th Legion badges, because you can get 30 from doing the Stromguard Warfront. And I was really close to getting my Moonsaber Priestess mount. And I did get it, and you will see it in a video later on in the week. This week, all in all, was a great week. In quick form, I got that mount, so I'd finally gotten enough currency for that. There's a pet achievement that I'd been working on for quite a while. I finally got that done. So you will see that in a video this week as well. Now, on the topic of the Gold Challenge, I have made a decision on how we're going to continue that. And, originally I was just going to drop it altogether. And that was because I just didn't find that I had enough stuff a weekly on it. But I do find that monthly would make a good video. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like to wait a month to see a Gold Challenge video, but to be honest, with the Brutosaur mount basically being on a countdown for a lot of people, you just have way too many people in the auction house. And one thing I have noticed lately is that since there's this countdown of the Brutosaur, no one knows quite when Shadowlands is coming out, but we have a rough idea of how many months we have to go for the Brutosaur. So with that said, there's too many people doing the auction house, and one thing I have seen a lot of, and it has made me more or less hold on to some of my items until I feel it's a better time to sell it. But people are in such a rush to sell stuff that people are undercutting like crazy and things are going cheap. It's great if you're buying stuff, but if you're trying to make gold, it is horrible. The people just want to make money and they don't care how little or how much, and that's the worst part of it because it's hard to sell things, and if you do the auction house enough, what things are worth. And, while I want to make money for the Brutosaur, I'm not going to sell something that I know I could make a hell of a lot more off of. So I've had so much stuff just kind of sitting in the bank waiting for these idiots to get their Brutosaur so I can sell things at a decent price. Like, so really, yeah. And I will go over that more in the monthly video. There is stuff that has been selling good and stuff that hasn't, and I will let you guys know in that video. Should be in the next day or two as well. So on the topic of the gold challenge, we were really behind. And then I logged in to do one quick thing before I went to do the WoW Weekly. And I'd noticed that my mount had sold. I have a bunch of the Blood Feaster mounts that I've been putting up on the auction house. So that sold. And I was very excited to see that sell. Because one, it has been a bit to actually sell mounts. Mounts have not been the good gold maker lately. The good one, actually, for me anyway, has been potions. So yeah. But gold-wise, I had spent like at least between 200 and 300,000 in this past week. That's a lot of money to spend when you're farming gold. Well, kinda. I don't know if you really consider me farming gold. I just kind of, for the most part, I'm a raw gold farmer. I always have been. I don't really focus it. I just make money off what I'd be doing anyway. And we were behind, definitely. I was actually not looking forward to putting the number down in the end of the WoW Weekly, because at the time, it was sitting at like 800K. And if you guys, for those of you that watch the weekly videos, you'll remember that last week we ended at a little over 1 million, right? So, we want to keep going up, not down, right? So I was not looking forward to it. And then last minute, that mount sold. And it was enough to put us back at the 1 million mark. And yeah, so I was really happy. So pretty much everything I bought this week has been paid for. And we are, back to the 1 million. So technically there's no, we're not more than we were last week, but I still see it as a huge positive because we would have been in the negative a lot this week. And now it's like maybe 60K in the negative, not much at all compared to how much I spent this past week. So that was very cool. I was very happy to see that. Okay, so on to the goals section. Like I said in the last video, goals are going to be a little nil for the next bit, but I do have a goal set for this week, mainly because it's Dark Moon Fair, and yeah, the goal is on a horde character. Actually, it's going to be my my Death Knight, which you've seen videos in the past week or so. I did some videos on how to get Hearthstones on boosted characters. It was my boosted character that came with the Shadowlands expansion. So what I want to do is I want to get some rep on that character. The main focus is the Valden rep because I still haven't had a horde character that's exalted with them, so I don't have access to the Volpera yet. I was working on it with my Paladin healer that sits over in a raiding guild on the horde server, but now that I got the Death Knight, I think I just want to focus it on the Death Knight because I want that character to be the main horde character now. So So yeah, that is the goal. So what I plan on doing is I don't want to just do like emissaries. I am gonna go in with the buff, maybe grab some hats so I don't have to go to Dark Moon every hour. And I am gonna do all the Volden quests. I'm good. I don't need that achievement. I already have it, but it's Dark Moon Fair Week. That doing all those quests would get me so much rep. It would get me a shitload of rep. And then there will also be an invasion for Volden before the Dark Moon buff expires. So I'm going to get that out of the way. So yeah, the goal is a Volden rep for this week. And that's basically it, aside from trying to earn more gold for the Brutosaur. Okay, so next up is news. Not a whole lot of news on the side of retail, but I do have one piece of news for you guys. I discovered this when I went to do the Veil Assault boss, but when you defeat the assault boss out in Veil, Vilrax, he actually spawns a portal now. I saw it and I was like, holy crap, that never was there before. So I guess people must have bitched, right? I don't find the run that bad, but then I'm a druid, I can stealth through everything and dash, and so I don't know. But there it is. So now when you do the assault boss of Vilrax, you don't have to run back outside. You can just take the portal. It's, I'm showing you in this picture here where it's at, but yeah, you'll see it. It's right where the boss dies. And that takes you to Mogshan Palace. So yeah, takes you into a safe area and all that. When I first grabbed it, I thought it would take you to the town, but I guess it makes sense because Mogshan Palace is where you hand in the quest, so they are definitely trying to make it convenient for you. Just a side note, but on the Blizzard app, you'll see that Blizzard is actually hiring, so if you have some of those skills, maybe that will interest you. I always thought it would be cool to be a quest designer, but to be honest, I would never want to work for Blizzard. I love them too much to be employed by them. Like, yeah, I learned a long time ago that you don't turn your hobby into a job, basically. Although some, I guess, would dispute that. People who are sitting there gaming, making millions of dollars may dispute the fact that, but for the most part, your hobby being your job sometimes makes you dislike your hobby down the road. So, yeah. Okay, so on to some classic news. So, you may remember that there was some rumors of PTR happening over on Classic. That exists on Classic now. If you look at your drop-down menu on your BattleNet, you will see Classic PTR and Retail PTR. So they do have PTR. It is playable now. They've enabled character copies for the Azalgarub and Arathi Basin testing. So on the topic of new content, Arathi Basin is going to unlock pretty soon on March 10th. And then Zalgarub and the Green Dragons will have an unlock sometime in April. When I know a more confirmed date, I'll let you guys know. And I'll remind you guys next week. Also for classic news, they had mentioned that the WoW token got added to WoW Classic only in China, though. So NA doesn't have that. This stirred up quite a bit of discussion, and my personal thoughts on it is I'm okay with it, I guess. I feel like the WoW token being added maybe limits the gold sellers. As far as, like I said, it's only for China. They basically say it's, likely that the token will not come to the servers on NA or EU. I wouldn't listen to that comment personally. The thing is, people never like when one side has something and another doesn't. So, will we see it? I think we will. I just don't think it'll be anytime soon. And on that topic, it's probably just a matter of time before boosts show up to Classic as well. Personally, I'd just be curious on how much gold the token gets you, just because of the difference in the Classic gold versus retail gold. Of course, we won't know for a while because the token only exists for China right now for Classic. But give it time. It will be over on NA, and I would be interested in knowing. I would think it would be no higher than 50 gold. I would think it would be between the 20 to 50 because it's, you can't generate gold as fast in Classic as you can retail, and it would still have to be reasonable for the person wanting the game time to be able to raise that kind of gold within a month. So yeah, that's my opinion. Personally, I don't care either way. At the end of the day, it's your choice whether you buy the token or not. So yeah. It's just the same like over on retail. I remember people were pissed when it came over to retail. And while I thought it was weird for something like that to come to retail, mainly because I thought it was weird that they would allow you to pay to play the game through in-game gold. I just never understood that, how you pay with real money since 2004 and then all of a sudden you can farm gold to play the game. Plus it kind of seemed kind of redundant to farm gold in-game to be able to have access to the game. I don't know, something always sounded weird with that whole situation. But, once again, if you don't like it, you don't do it type deal. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. It's like, it exists and, not much you can do about it. They're never going to remove it. So they do have to be pretty careful if they do decide to bring it to NA for Classic, because once it's there, it's going to be there forever. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts. And that basically concludes the WoW section. I do have one more piece of news for you guys. It has to do with Diablo. So let's get to the Diablo news. I had mentioned in a previous WoW Weekly, because once in a while I do throw the oddball game in for news when we have it. Not too often, but once in a while. So I had mentioned that Diablo Season 19 was ending on the 1st. We now have a startup date for Season 20. So the startup date is March 13th. And yeah, so I just thought I'd add that in for those of you that play WoW and Diablo. We do have the startup date. Here's a picture of the pet that you can get through it. For those that do play Diablo, I am going to have a video on the channel shortly, possibly tomorrow, maybe the day after, going over more details on the season. I tried to not go too in-depth on my WoW Weekly videos when it comes to the other games. So that will have its separate video, but I just thought I would add it in to the end of this video. And yeah, so that is it. So yeah, to conclude, this week's goals is going to be some Volden rep farming, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.